Well, we are sad to report that a longtime member of the Channel 4 family has passed away.
Generations of WCCO viewers knew him simply as Bud, the man who delivered weather reports in a down-home, folksy way. Bud Kraehling died last night at the age of 96. As Bill Hudson shows us, Bud was a television pioneer, bringing us weather long before the days of satellites and radar.
Bud, do we have the all clear now?
Yes, Dave. Wall showers and thunderstorms.
He warmed his way into hearts and living rooms.
The humidity is not quite so bad tonight, and so this push is a whole lot easier.
For 47 years, Bud Kraehling brought WCCO viewers the weather in simple, straightforward, fun kind of ways.
We're stuck here. We hit it a couple of times and no. Good work.
And with gear that was far from state-of-the-art. Nobody had more fun than Dave Moore and Bud.
I am a kindly, smiling weather forecaster.
Bud was a master communicator.
Former CCO colleague Mike Fairborn says Bud had something that schools don't teach.
He could relate to people on a personal basis that very few people in broadcasting ever master.
Kraehling was pure personality. His technology was dry erase maps and crude radar. Meteorologist Paul Huttner recalls a very humble man.
I think that rubbed off a little bit on everybody. I know it did on me. You could have a career, you could be a success, and you could still be really, really nice to people.
Always the crowd favorite, from state fairs to parades.
Get on a float with Bud Kraehling is humbling.
Hello! Playing trumpet for his neighbors. And belting out the classics.
Nothing but blue skies do I see.
This broadcast legend who brought us blue skies all his years. Now, we can tell you Bud retired from CCO back in 1996, but this man never slowed down. He volunteered at the Minnesota History Center and various charities, and his family tells us he stayed sharp through his passion for photography and reciting poetry and song. What a gentle, gentle soul he was.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
He was
real
a
gem.
class act.
Yeah, pioneer indeed.
We're talking about this on Facebook now. It's really easy. You can look and see the comments, but you cannot believe the amount of people who are just talking nothing but nice words about Bud and how much he meant
touched so
to
many
them.
lives.
Yeah, he
Just
really
an
did.
outpouring of support.
Well, thank you, Bill.
You bet. Thanks.
For 50 years, WCCO viewers trusted Bud Kraehling's forecast.
The last time I looked outside, it was partly cloudy.
His smile and easy delivery was what viewers looked forward to seeing every night.
I knew him before I did meet him because I used to watch him on the air.
Roger Nelson worked as a director at WCCO and for 26 years had the pleasure of working alongside Kraehling.
He was a mentor not only in television, but in life.
Nelson says he doesn't remember everything Kraehling said or did, but he does remember how you felt at ease when he was around.
He was the same way as he was on the air. He's a gentle, kind, good man, and did his job very well. You could count on him.
The humidity is not quite so bad tonight, and so this push is a whole lot easier.
Kraehling's weather drawings were simple, but viewers watched for much more than the art.
Bud wasn't a meteorologist, but man, could he tell a story. And everything was from the heart, genuine, and that resonated with Minnesota.
Former CCO meteorologist Paul Douglas says Minnesotans also love Kraehling's interactions with Dave Moore.
Bud and Dave Moore, I mean, that was CCO for the longest time. That was their identity. That was the brand.
What's the question most frequently asked?
Well, in the summertime, they ask me, is it hot enough for you? And then in the wintertime, they say, is it cold enough for you?
And what do you answer?
Yeah, it is.
I loved how Bud would just simplify things. Is it raining? I don't know. I haven't been outside in the last 2 minutes. You know, that kind of stuff. It's great because that's what people can relate to.
Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer says Kraehling defined weathercasting in Minnesota and will be remembered as the originator.
Just kind of a regular guy, you know, that people counted on to tell them about the weather.
The humidity is not quite so bad tonight, and so this push is a whole lot easier.
Bud Kraehling never got a degree in meteorology.
The last time I looked outside, it was partly cloudy.
He actually stumbled into the profession of TV weatherman.
I just happened into it. The first weather on TV, I was substituting for a man who went on vacation. And it was sponsored by Tasty Bread, and I did a better commercial, I guess, than he did, so the sponsor asked, had me stay on.
For decades, Minnesotans depended on Bud for the weather and for happy talk with his longtime on-air partner, Dave Moore.
I would tell Dave, well, I'll start talking to you. Don't you start talking to me. I want to start talking to you.
The historic on-air team often engaged in unscripted banter. It was a chemistry that to this day is not often matched.
So often I get the question, is Bud Kraehling really a weatherman, or does he just read some information prepared for him by someone else? Where do you get your weather from, Bud?
Well, a lot of it comes out of the west.
Forecasts in the early days were simple drawings.
Partly cloudy at Denver.
Later came the Shell weather tower, made to look like it was outside. Finally a window, first on 9th Street, then the studios at 11th Street in Minneapolis.
That the more things change, the more they stay the same.
As his nearly 50 years in broadcasting progressed,
So I added flowers and birds and some gardening.
his smile and easy delivery stayed the same. So did the audience's love for Bud.
Oh, this is a thrill of my life.
Bud Kraehling was known as the Walter Cronkite of local television weather. For 50 years, viewers tuned in to watch his forecast. His easy style, humor, and quick wit made him a favorite.
His gentle man, which made it easy to be around him and to work with him.
Retired WCCO director Roger Nelson worked with Kraehling for 26 years.
You could count on him.
Nelson says Kraehling was a mentor at work and in life. Former meteorologist Paul Douglas says Kraehling gave him the best career advice. He told him to focus on good storytelling.
And he said, Minnesotans know their weather. If anything, assume they know more than you do.
Many say Kraehling's interactions on air with anchor Dave Moore were legendary.
All those charts and graphs and instruments you use.
Oh, well, they don't mean very much. I usually call the Weather Bureau.
Call the Weather Bureau?
Yeah, I say, hi there, what's the weather? And I write it down, and then I say it out loud to the folks.
His daughter Claudia says her father was an impish man with an enormous heart.
Oh, this is a thrill of my life.
And he loved the viewers as much as they loved him.
I don't know if our generation of broadcasters will be remembered like the greats were.
CCO Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer says Kraehling was an originator, from his black and white graphics to the Shell weather tower.
The humidity is not quite so bad tonight, and so this push is a whole lot easier.
Kraehling didn't need fancy graphics and maps to attract viewers.
Well, we hit it a couple of times, no.
Kraehling kept things simple and sincere, something viewers will always remember about him.
I loved his simplicity about it, and again, just a gentleman.